Hey, what's up? I'm Oliver Saint, and this is Q&A. I guess it's kind of my alter ego, and I think as I was starting to like create music and starting to kind of think about what are the things that I want to influence in like kind of the music that I'm creating, and how are the themes of like different things that have just surfaced in my life, like represented in kind of my musical name. My grandmother's always been a big influence for me. You know, she's always been kind of a source of I guess comfort in difficult times, and her name was Olive. And then also just I guess the Saint piece is more just taking this approach that's almost like a religion to music. Like I really just love making music, I love listening to music, I love sharing music, and I think all those aspects are similar to kind of how people think about their religious beliefs as well. So I think the two just made sense when I was thinking about like an artist name, just coming up with that, you know, Oliver Saint piece, and kind of combining the two together. So yeah, that's how it came together. So Saintyland is a work in progress consistently, but I think what inspired it is just really having a place to experiment and create. I think just listening to a lot of like podcasts and TED Talks, there's always this talk about like there's not enough places, I think, in our society where you can experiment and try different things out and fail without kind of being scared of, you know, what the results are. I think just, you know, in the age of social media and all that stuff, like, you know, you're competing for likes, you're competing for subscribers or whatever it may be. And, I've myself felt, you know, this pressure that you can't kind of do something and, you know, withstand the fact that it could fail, or what even failure means in that circumstance or situation. So Saintyland is really just a place that I've developed, you know, mentally and kind of like, I guess, virtually, where I can kind of come into that atmosphere and that mental state and just be like, yeah, I can experiment, I can try different things out, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's all good because it's trial and error. Yeah, piece by piece. I think, you know, in college I started DJing a lot more, just getting into that music scene. I always shared like these rough mixes with like friends when I would get excited about like remixing like a Drake song or like something that came out on the radio. And then I started getting more into production. I started with GarageBand initially and just kind of messing around in GarageBand. And I made myself a promise / kind of was instructed by my uncle, who's a record producer in Canada, that I should kind of just see the extent that I can use GarageBand, because I think there is something to be said of like being limited in terms of like the features that you have before you move on. So I always knew I kind of wanted to graduate to that next level of like using Logic as a, you know, performance kind of place and a workstation, but I really wanted to maximize everything I could do in GarageBand and prove to myself that I really was invested in this before I started that. So it was, you know, trial and error of making things in GarageBand, you know, kind of finding that sound, kind of finding my identity, finding my voice, you know, looking to my influences, and then basically just making my own version of what I thought would be, you know, fun, danceable songs. And I think the consistent theme that I've always tried to make those songs with is just like dancing, having fun, and just hearing, you know, lyrics about life. So coming out with an EP, you know, it's called Anointed. I've already shared the visuals on my Instagram. It's at Sainty_land. And basically the visuals are basically just representative of this theme of which the whole EP is created, which is about just elevating yourself to that level where you start believing in your ideas and your dreams and desires. So it's called Anointed, and that's kind of the whole theme, is just anointing yourself to that level where you start believing in yourself a little bit more. So tune in, and thanks for spending some time.